Hello, everybody, and welcome to session 88 of Pokerole. It's like very close to 88. We're doing session 88. This was pointed out last stream. Which is kind of funny timing on dates. That was not planned. But, yeah, we're back with the game. We are at Savan Town at this point. We are probably going to have a chill session today, doing stuff around town. But, of course, before we begin, if you like the video, do think about giving it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, think about doing that as well. But if you really want to help out, think about coming over to Twitch. We're trying to reach partner over here, but we need more viewers to do it. So if you want to come by, whether it's to lurk or to talk, think about doing so, because it does make a big difference. Also, we have a pretty cool Discord community, and you can access the Pokerole Discord community off of that one. And I have a Ko-fi link if you want to help directly monetize my content. All links are in the description, so check them out at your leisure. And, of course, we do have a Pokerole wiki as well that you can check out, add to, enjoy. We have session recaps there if you want to catch up on the game in a faster way than just watching them. Check it out. Enio has done a lot of work. Enio specifically has done a lot of work on it, but there's been a lot of work from numerous people, so. And with that being said, how's everybody doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Awake?
I'm doing alright. Doing alright. Also, one of the chat is right. One of your garments transformed into battle initiative. Again.
What? What the fuck? Again? This is new?
There's always been, like, this weirdness with... Yeah, like, one of your images and one of the other things, like, for some reason they become linked to the battle initiative card.
That is so weird. Maybe I should delete the battle initiative card so that doesn't happen.
Let's do it after we stop needing it for this time?
I mean, I could... What I mean is, I could...
Also, I don't know what happened. I thought I wrote down the reminder thing on the battle initiative.
That is a weird glitch. So what the hell? I don't even remember what I had there. Well, you puzzle that out. I'm gonna do what I was gonna do. Let's see. Tools, was it? Yeah. No, I was just thinking, let me just make a new note card. If it's glitched out, I can just make a new note card. It's fine. Make a copy that is maybe not going to have that weird linking issue. Same card, same information. I can delete the original. Move that one over. And there you go. Now it's still broken, but maybe I'll prevent further breaking, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, because originally it was one of your Tucker images that had that problem. It
Really?
would receive the name and description.
That's a smaller issue. However, since this is a custom card, that's a bit of a shame. What was here, guys? Does anybody remember? I have a Pop Pit Freak scarf. I got a cloak scrap. But what was the other? What was the other garment I was wearing? I want to say it was. No, I'm not sure what it was. The item that improves my bite attacks?
Hello, Era.
Are you talking about the razor fang that Brooke has, or are you talking about a different bite item? Was there a bite item? Did I have some sort of bite item? Because that sounds like a Brooke item more than a Tucker item. Granted, Tucker does have some bites.
There was an item, I thought.
I mean, I can load the other table save, I suppose. It's just will kill the music. I'll have to reload it again.
We'll just leave a reminder for ourselves later.
Oh, it's fast. Let me just load, like, April. Also, thank you very much for the hype train, everyone. That's very much appreciated. Let's see where it goes, I suppose.
Triangle scarf. The triangle scarf.
Yeah. Plus 1 damage die to Fang Boost. I'll just copy the text.
Yeah, just gonna copy that and go back.
That's really annoying. What is Pokerole? What is Tabletop Simulator even doing?
I don't know.
I don't think I've seen that issue happen on something that actually mattered until just now. I guess this is the value of making actual images for this stuff. I fixed the text. Oh, what? Alright.
Okay, gonna paste that.
Oh. Oh, you copied the whole card. Well, that works.
Yes. It might be prudent. Maybe.
What?
If it words, if it screws up again, we can just create an entirely new blank card for it.
Shouldn't, but, I mean...
Yeah, it shouldn't. So, you know, it's an if.
Because I removed the note card, so I deleted that note card. And I feel like the note card was the one causing the problem, so...
Well, yeah, but I had deleted... Well, I guess you would say it before I had deleted the text on the battle initiative card, so...
Yes. Actually, now that I think about it. This is the original
yeah,
card.
your triangle scarf does give you die damage on your bite keys.
Yep.
Well,
Kind of forgot about that. Oh, Merle, thank you. Did you undo replace the note card? Yeah, I actually thought about that just a moment ago. I did, so I need to delete this again. I don't know. I feel like the note card itself is causing some sort of issues. I feel like the source is the note card, because it's changed more than one thing, right? So get rid of the original note card. That's my thought. Maybe that's some stupid scripting that got it attached to it or something. I don't know. Here's a fresh card that I will actually do a table save with. There. Anyways. See you later, Era. Poniard is the correct spelling, by the way. It is, yes. It's a weird word, but it works. Aw. Thank you, Shin. Anyways. To address, Aragon has left the game. For anybody that didn't catch last session, or didn't catch the end of it, or whatever, Aragon is no longer playing. This was planned out. He has decided to move on from the game. Happens sometimes. Honestly, we've been playing this for so long, it's kind of surprising nobody left before now anyways. Though I do hope the rest of the players are eager to keep going for a long period of time. I feel like with assuming there aren't any dramatic changes of circumstances, I feel like the game can certainly continue just fine with everyone else. And we will also be seeking a replacement, or possibly two. We do actually have 5 character sheets. We've always just used the last one for NPCs, but if there is a thought there, we actually already have a setup for 5. That is a possibility. We're kind of figuring it out. There's going to be some conversations about it. There's one in particular tomorrow that might solve some of that. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. It's not a rush process though. You can't rush a good new player. If you rush players into a D&D game, the D&D game falls apart. I've learned this. I've played previous games before where our groups that got together, they were just kind of casual groups, and it worked for a while. But then the games kind of fell apart and just kind of dropped off before the game even really got any decent conclusion. And that's simply because you really got to coordinate people and really got to make sure people flow together. If you rush a new player into a situation like, oh boy, we need to fill slots, that's probably not going to end well. You got to take your time a little bit. Depends on the style of the game. True. I mean, if it's like a one shot, then yeah, throw people together. It doesn't matter, right? Something really short, it doesn't matter. But the longer the game is, the more you gotta get that thought. But, with that being said, since nobody else is talking, Aragon's items are still on him. Or rather, I'm sorry, Riley's items are still on him. He's kept his stuff. And you might be like, oh, why doesn't he just distribute that? Well, he's still in the game. He's still technically a character existing, doing things. So He still has his stuff. It's been put away for now so the sheet can be cleared out. But it's over in this bag. So it's not like gone. It's over there if it needs to be transitioned or something. But yeah. So this isn't suddenly giving us a bunch of items or something, the rest of the players. I forgot that Lizard still has some gold.
They do. I haven't really changed their inventory at all.
Riley's been promoted to 24/7 Lizard Protector. An understandable enough role, honestly.
Let's just say that Lizard is probably a lot more stable with Riley around more.
An easy impression to give. So let's see. Let's do a quick recap, though, of actual game events, now that I've discussed those things.
Yes. Last time was the Feast at the Gallantry, where y'all had a pleasant celebratory time with the knights, and then had a less pleasant and far less celebratory time in the morning, when you had your first encounter with Benkei of the 100 Victories and his entourage of poniards. And his
the Scyther.
And his
Sir
apparently...
Deuce a lot.
Sorry?
Sir Deuce a lot.
I mean...
Got him.
Sure. Sure. But... also his apparently very immediately dislikable Scizor Lieutenant, who I am very pleased that I made them that easily dislikable. That was the point.
Point taken.
Point not taken, necessarily, considering Dose was rather subdued by them, to put it politely. And unfortunately, this also meant that Uno could not come with you to Savantown, and Calvin sort of had to blitz things. So they got you to town in 2 days when it normally should have taken you, like, 6?
They really should take a break. That's
Yeah,
probably
they need to. Because, unfortunately, as much dexterity as some of you all have, some of the dexterity speed rules are a bit wonky. And also, bipeds are not going to go nearly as fast as a large quadruped's meant to go fast.
Yes.
But you were brought back home. Not to a whole lot of fanfare, but you're getting used to that. And one of your first stops was HQ, wherein Riley got dropped off and you all got to greet Lizard. Tucker found out that the egg is becoming active, so it may or may not hatch soon.
Yes. I think he's holding on to it right now, actually. Like, I think
Yes,
he's done the blanket thing.
Ralph went to meet with Mawile, because Ralph misses Mawile.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And then Brooke went off to go report in. Tucker following after.
Sounds right.
Yep.
And you all got to briefly chat with Rise, I believe.
Yeah, a little bit in the bar. Cafe section.
And unfortunately, by the time we got to that point, I think it was almost 10:30 or 11. So I was about to handwave the debriefing with Pangoro.
Yes.
But you all decided that it would probably be better to actually have that played out, and I'm okay with that.
There's a fair amount to report. It may as well be done actually in conversation. Mm-hmm. Also, I recall that Tucker also talked to Rise about Shao Sneak and learn it, and he was proud of that. And also, he's going to talk to Rise again. I don't remember exactly why, but I wrote that down as a nut reminder here.
I don't remember why either.
I know Ralph's gotta swing by and visit because he's got to drop off some salt.
Oh yeah.
Oh right. Ralph needs to drop off salt. Also, oh no, I nearly tossed Lizard off the edge.
Whoops.
Also, yeah, Prince Zeal isn't back yet. They're not going to be back for a few days.
Yeah, we're kind of faster than they could be.
We got the need for speed.
Oh, shut up, Beers. Tucker, oh, thank you, Dark. Tucker told me he got more control over Shastic. Well, yeah, he did say that. I do not remember why he wanted to talk to Rise later. Anybody remember what else that those two were going to talk about?
I apologize for not having as good a memory, and I apologize for any yawning. I don't know why.
The audience participation can be very helpful sometimes for remembering details. So I may as well present that to you guys. If you remember what those two were going to talk about, let me know. Outfits? Oh, actually, it could have been about outfits. That is a logical thing. Granted, Tucker didn't really want to... was going to get another outfit first. Probably would be more to talk about then. So I don't know. If we remember, it was probably important. If we don't, it probably wasn't.
This is why Ennio's work is the work of miracles.
That's actually true. Very, very true. Can be useful even for the players.
Yeah, Ennio and everyone else who work on the wiki and doing the little summaries and synopses are all really appreciated.
Very much so. Let's see. Though he is not actually added at session 87 yet, because I think he's on vacation right now, if I recall.
Yes. They did, however, leave a brief synopsis in the wiki channel that I don't know if anyone has put it into the wiki itself yet.
Not yet. I just checked that, actually.
I'm back.
Hello.
Welcome back. Which means we are ready to resume. Which also means I need... You know what? You know what?
Also, another update, a side thing, because I didn't read the synopsis. Also, Squirtle returned.
Oh yes, I almost forgot. Important small note is the Mute Squirtle did return, and they have a little scarf that marks them as in training.
Yes.
Yep, they are in training. Soon they will have Team Extreme.
Team Extreme.
Oh no.
Yeah, they'll be extreme.
Team Silent but Deadly.
That's worse.
Oh no. Brooke just wants to have a team of pirate ninjas.
I would be on board.
And yes, Laddie is in Brooks Pond. And he'll just have
Yes.
to deal, I suppose.
Laddie was specifically placed in Brooks Pond, but this is fine. Brooke will train them to be an instrument of destruction.
Is that in the script?
Or a floating drink tray.
This is true. You may need to move your desk for it to be effective, but it's not like Laddie cares.
Thanks, Blue. I appreciate that.
Very well then. For now, Brooke and Tucker are in Pangoro's office to give him a debriefing. So we will start there. Oh, I should turn the music on.
Okay. Tucker, Mostly just is tagging along with Brooke, who is probably going to give the actual briefing from what he understands. Makes sense as team leader. But he wants to sit in and see how things go, clearly. He is mostly tending to the egg as he does so, which he is wrapped in a kind of a blanket sling like he's done before, so he can carry the egg on his side while also doing other things.
Brooke will walk in and settle on the chair, I guess, if he has one.
There are chairs. Pangoro will gesture for you to sit.
He'll take a seat and just kind of let out an ugh. Hey, boss. And
Pangoro looks up and he raises his eyebrows ever so slightly, even though it doesn't look like he's any less grumpy. Good to see you're back. And in one piece, for the most part.
I may just type some things out.
That's fine.
No worries. We know that's comfy for you.
I do suggest a hybrid style, at least for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
Like a car. They have the best fuel efficiency that way.
I don't know. Sometimes I eat way too many carbs.
I was talking cars, not carbs. Car. Car is car. Car is car, not carbs. It's starting to become a tongue twister now. Tucker will just kind of settle on the ground, being a little easier to use than a chair as a quadruped.
Brooke nods and says, yeah, for the most part, definitely wasn't easy. That's not even counting what happened at the gallantry after the letter I sent.
Oh, right. I had nearly forgotten about that.
As Pangoro pulls out the letter, he clearly did at some point read it because it's pre-opened, but he just sort of folded it and put it back in its envelope.
Let's see here.
Oh gosh, wait, did you actually send me letter text?
I did, yes. It was...
Scree, I need to go look at that.
It's relatively close to the bottom here.
Yeah. Don't forget Pangoro's Bell. Yes, that is one of several topics that Pangoro probably won't like.
Oh my goodness, you actually sent me a lot.
Fair bit, yeah.
Oh right, the one letter to Lizard. Oh right.
One was addressed to everybody at the base, and one was to Pangoro. Just
Yes.
basically saying, hey, we're fine.
Thank you for this, because now it's like, oh wait, yeah, there are things that need to be done. Yeah, Pangoro just starts to skim over the letter a bit.
I would say your encounters of late sound unbelievable. But we all know that's not the case. As much as I'd like to say your encounters are outside the norm. This is unfortunately probably more everyday than any other Pokemon would like to admit.
Brooke just grins and says, life of the pioneer.
It is. That is our lot. I will commend you for going out and completing the mission you were originally sent on. And not only that, you have made contact with a legendary. Such associates can be fickle if useful.
Wasn't really sure they enjoyed us being in very much, especially Zeal.
Pangoro just has this look on his face, like he understands.
As for the seamstress,
He seems to wince a bit as he slowly opens a drawer and provides a box. And he just drops it a very short distance onto the desk, and it lets out a very heavy thunk. And there's a bit of a metallic clattering noise from inside.
I want that coat now.
He is paying for his indiscretions, literally.
Well, Tucker doesn't say it outright. He is. He kind of peeks up at the box, definitely, clearly aware that it has quite a bit of money in it.
Brooke nods. It's like, well, okay. I'm sure she'll be happy to hear that. I don't think she sent it with us, though, did she?
No, she did, along with the receipt.
Okay. Then I will produce both for him.
Pangoro will take it and the receipt, and then he is immediately going to burn the receipt using a candle.
It's like, Brooke's just not gonna ask.
Tucker will
Never.
try.
Sorry. Just Pangoro quickly, just not even looking at you all as he makes sure the receipt is entirely burnt, even though it singes his fingers a bit.
Never forget you have an order from her. You will regret it with your wallet.
Yes.
Tucker will just quip, trying to ease the mood. It is a very nice coat, though.
It would have been nicer for me to have a few years ago.
Just regular, grumbly Ursine self.
Oh no, that's a long time.
Brooke will hand the box to Tucker. Keep track of this until, I guess one of the spiders might come to pick it up. I don't know.
I'm sure she'll send a spinnerack along in no time.
Tucker dutifully takes it in his mouth and then nearly drops his head to the floor in the process of the weight.
Yeah, that sounds about right. A heavy box.
He does, after a small struggle, stuff it in his bag and then adjust to the weight and now in front of his chest.
You're now front-loaded, like those weird T-Rex dogs from Elden Ring. That should totally just fall forward.
Yeah, they should.
Brooke will then explain what happened to Zeal on the way to the gallantry, and then what happened at the gallantry.
Pangoro will nod and listen for the most part.
Usually the knights are a decent bunch, if troublesome. I get the distinct feeling that the Night Lords didn't exactly send them there on total consensus. That being said, they're perhaps the least destructive bunch they could have sent. I guess. Though it would have been nice if they'd actually dealt with the glalie instead of us sending you to do it. He folds his arms and just... His face scrunches up in what you assume is an angry squint.
No argument there. I assume they just got along well enough with him that they didn't think he did anything wrong.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Tucker pipes up and mentions, they do seem pretty nice overall. Their heart's in the right place. I think they just might be kind of, disorganized, a little reactionary.
That sounds like Knights of Valor for you. Well, that being said, Benkei is more of a problem. I don't recognize the name, or at least I've forgotten it. And it seems he's operating from somewhere out in the west. That puts him past our area of influence, you could call it. Most of the time we don't send pioneers, at least knowingly, beyond Astarock. Astarock? Astarock?
Astronomical.
Ralph says, poking his head through a window randomly.
I mean,
I don't know. It came to me.
I mean, that sounds so in character, though.
That's why I said it.
Like, look, if this were a manga, Ralph would just be in the margins, always quipping.
Never mind that.
I could be the margins character, dude. Yeah, if it were manga, for sure. I'd have like bumper segments in between commercial breaks for sure.
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Kyrio?
I just said never mind that the Pangoro's office is on the second floor.
Doesn't matter, he'll fly again.
Yeah, he'll just use metronome and fly.
I'm not quite sure what Benkei's objectives are, but so long as he isn't overtly being destructive, we'll have to ignore him for now. It's dangerous to send anyone terribly far. After all, you've already been gone a few weeks.
Tucker folds his ears and does speak up about this. I don't know this Benkei guy either, but he seems like just a big bully with a bunch of other bullies. Duo picked a fight with him, but they went way too far in how much they beat him up.
I understand that. But as I understand it, the Knights will be taking care of their own matters. There isn't any reason for us to be further involved for now.
Tucker does nod.
Brooke nods as well. Says I let them know that if they do need help, that they could call on us.
And I'm certain they will. As brash and as proud as they may be, they know when they need aid. Speaking of aid, Pangoro leans over to look out his office window. I have noticed the Zebstrika standing around.
Oh yeah, that's Calvin.
Oh,
They escorted us here, but I believe they would really like to go back home.
I'll be sure to have Rise do something about supplying them.
Tucker speaks up. They got us back here really fast. I just hope they have energy for the trip back. If we could give them some supplies, that'd be good.
I would try and get them to rest here, but given the current situation, I doubt they would, even if I insisted.
That's about the long and short of it.
Pangoro nods. So for now, Blaze will just have to do with the resources being a little low this week. Thankfully, most of the knights in the gallantry probably don't need to eat. Assuming they don't do what they did with you every single night.
I'm assuming.
Assuming. By the way, Brooke, did you happen to see Squirtle?
Oh yeah, he told me that he's in training now.
Pangoro quirks an eyebrow at the phrasing of that, but doesn't quite question it. Indeed. I would ask you, if you happen to encounter Noibat at any time, to not mention it with them.
Brooke tilts his head a little. Okay.
Noibat is currently on an provisionary mission with Florence to Sea Spray. I expect they will be back soon. However, Noibat does not exactly continue to qualify as a pioneer.
And why is that?
Well, they are dutiful and they do perform duty. Wow, bleh, words. Well, they are dutiful and they do perform tasks about town as any pioneer might. They are not exactly the most capable. Physically speaking, they are fragile, which is ironic given they are a dragon type. And frankly, I am concerned about allowing them to go on to actual missions. Not only for their own safety, but for Ryze's sanity.
That looks thoughtful and just nods. Well, it's your call, boss.
He sighs and leans back in his chair as it creaks. That's the problem. It's my call.
Tucker speaks. Is there any way we could help with his training? If he just needs to get stronger in some way. In a safe way, maybe?
We could try, but Noibat has attempted to train with pioneers before with little results. After all, I think you may recall his issues with the daycare room.
Tucker actually does have to hold back a little bit of a giggle. The scene was kind of funny, though in retrospect, a little bit sad.
That said, Noibat is an excellent scout, but they want more than that. Rather than play to their strengths, they want to lean into, well, he gestures towards Brooke, what you do. Not necessarily as a leader, but they want to be on the front lines, for lack of any more polite terms.
Tucker actually makes just a little bit of a sigh and chuckle at that. Well, I'm not always the best in battle myself. I'm not terrible, but I'm definitely not the strongest member of my team. So, maybe I understand where he's coming from.
Perhaps. But Noibat is fragile. You happen to be a bit more durable than they are.
I guess I do. I do keep going.
This is a tough decision. But it was promised that if they succeeded, they would be considered. Even Ryze agreed to it. And perhaps I am worrying over much. Ryze has already proven that they have become stronger in their recovery. than I had imagined. We'll have to see.
Tucker
Though I
nods.
must apologize. As he moves to lean forward on his desk. It's almost as if I'm using you all for therapy. Not exactly very becoming of your leader, no, is it?
Tucker-
I'm gonna type.
Oh, go ahead.
You can go first.
Okay. Tucker simply says with a small smile, everybody needs advice sometimes.
Has Brooke got something to say?
Yeah, I'm just typing it out real quick.
Okay.
Okie doke.
I just want to make sure I get it right.
Piper says, relax, Pangoro. You're not using it for therapy. You're just being an exposition dump.
Well, in case you haven't noticed, I use Pangoro as a way to ramble.
He both seems antisocial and rambly, potentially has a rambly side to the right people. Or more specifically, it's his way of stress relief. He's busy. He's quite a job. You know, the back of my mind, I feel like there was one other thing to talk to Pangoro about, but I can't remember what it was. It might have been fabricated in my mind, though. We did cover most of the bases, though. So you know what? It just occurred to me. Where's our side quest card?
Should be over the left.
Oh, right. It's over there. Yeah, there it is. That's right. There kind of was, actually, two things.
What about S? What about the Esper? That would have been covered in the briefing, I think.
What about the... Is the frozen inscription something we made a notable note about?
The frozen inscription, you mean from the...
Auroral Cave.
The Auroral Cave?
I think that was in the mountain, right?
It was like an acolyte sort of thing.
Yeah.
Acolyte sort of thing. Right,
We
that's
could
more
talk to him
specific.
about that, but
I don't know if he got debriefed on that. I don't know if it matters. Just thought I'd bring it up.
we were going to follow up with that at Sea Spray.
Yeah. Now, sea spray itself could be a topic too, since we got some information. About
Oh, that's what you wanted to talk about.
The
You wanted to talk
caretakers.
about going... Yes.
That
you
might be
wanted to
worth
talk
bringing
about
up.
going to Sea Spray.
Yeah,
Hmm.
caretakers / archivists. Something that, well, that's also partially a personal thing, considering the healing broken minds thing was a focus that Tucker had. May or may not be part of this debriefing, but probably is mentioned. Certainly seems smart to make Pangoro aware of like intentions to go back to Sea Spray for some stuff.
Okay. Brooke will pause for a moment and then say, if you'd like my perspective, there's no guarantee that Noibat won't get hurt, even if he avoids going on real missions. There are just too many things out of our control. But I find that if you give people who want to the opportunity to succeed regardless of their past failures, they can surprise you.
Tucker adds on to that and says, if somebody wants to take a risk, and it's something that can help them grow, that is their choice.
Well spoken. In which case, perhaps it is time for me to grow as well.
And he stands up, pushing the chair away, and he throws the coat on himself. And it's a really nice Bancho coat. And it almost feels like he becomes way more confident with it on. He just looks the part.
Not that he looked unconfident before.
He definitely looks he looks the part a lot better now with the coat.
Mm-hmm. Brooke is visibly impressed.
Tucker also looks to be admiring how he looks after playing that on.
Now then, it will take me a little time to get rewards sorted for everything you've done so far. I'll also need to figure out who I'm going to send to that mansion, if the seamstress hasn't already claimed it. So, enjoy your time in town for a while. I'll send for you. All of you.
Brooke nods, yes sir. And
Yes, sir.
he'll get up and head out.
With Tucker behind.
As a note, he says before you leave, if you have pressing business outside of Savannah, let me know. I'll try and speed up the timeline if I can.
Brooke thinks a moment and says, well, we were planning on heading to Sea Spray, but it's not that urgent.
Well, depending on how long you take, you might actually meet Florence and Noibat on their way here. If you are still confident in Noibat's abilities, you have my leave to take them with you, assuming they agree.
I think I'd like to do that.
Tucker also seems very receptive to that comment, nodding.
Pangoro smiles. Dismissed.
And Brooke goes.
Yep.
You are free from the debriefing.
Yay!
Also,
Only deeper.
should the side quest thing perhaps be... Should the Calendar challenge be done? Because it technically is, right?
Yes.
I'll add done.
Which
I know
one is it?
that's the very top. Whoops, I had two things.
Let's see.
I just added done to it. Because I noticed that's been added, updated to some of these.
Yeah, some of these are ones that are redoable.
Okay.
What I will do is...
Repeatable side quests. Far for good items. Oh, yeah, we should also update that.
What's Miltank's materials request again?
I don't remember what they wanted.
extra berries and things.
They wanted a
So that-
casual resupply.
Yeah. Because they have, like, the candies and lotions and stuff for the spa.
Fair. V's letter was already checked, I believe, and it's basically V saying come by. And yeah, we could do that during Sea Spray as well. Come by for event. I don't remember if it was specific what
Come
event
on
it's for.
down.
V's letter effectively boils down to, hey, I heard about this place out in the middle of nowhere or X location, and I want you guys to help me get the stuff in it.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It was a relatively vaguely worded letter that boils down to, I would like your help to do this thing. And it's just one of those side quests that you can choose to do or not, or just take your dang time.
Also, fair. I don't know if that was brought up in game yet. It's officially that Riley's going to be sitting out / doing his own thing. I don't know if that came up end of last session, so I don't know if that's something that is reported to Pangoro right now.
I will say, under assumption, at least for now, that something along the lines of leaving Riley at HQ, not only for his own health, but for lizards as well, would probably be mentioned, and that would be a easily acceptable answer by Pangoro.
Kind of effectively just Riley's same kind of membership status of, like, you know, hot dog and lizard too. Just sort of that, like, they're not part of the main, like, active team, but they are still, you know, within the structure that we have building as we get new party members.
Yep. And also, yes, fair. V is basically commissioning Team Cheer for a treasure hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Ralph.
Yeah.
Are you doing anything specific with Mawile besides catching up?
Well, after catching up, I think I will bring up pitch the idea of using the magnet to make my zapper more lethal.
Ooh, not to interrupt too much, but Tubby, you could also consider the side quest list might be worth discussing with Mawile, actually, in that regard too. Specifically the last one.
Ah, yes.
Yes, that last one is also basically Mawile's expedition.
Yeah, that's her mission, so this might be of relevancy to Ralph, I felt.
Yeah. Yes. Which is over.
What's that?
Yeah, rearrange way over here. But I'll bring up that. I'll bring up the zapper first as like small talk. Yeah, I was thinking since it boosts since it boosts the power of electric type. Well, actually, would Pokemon know that it boosts the power of electric type moves?
We will assume they do. I'm sure on some level it's like meta knowledge, but it's a held item.
You can also just say it's a logical theory. You guys are scientists. You guys are smart. Just say logical theory if you want to.
Yeah, it's intuitive.
Scientists know how magnets work. It's clearly not magic.
Yeah, I think since you can boost the power of electric items, maybe it could boost the power of the zapper. I mean, it might be dangerous, but so is getting shot at by a legendary. The fake one.
Well, I mean, you're okay. She sort of briefly, teasingly pokes at Ralph's belly. I don't think you'd freeze over anyway.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't. He pats his own. Oh man, I tell you though, that was the hungriest I have ever been.
As an aside, Tubby, I assume Ralph is very proud of himself when he recounts the adventures to Mawile and explains how he was the only one that didn't get really cold and it helped the team a lot. Because it was able to
help. I think he's more impressed with himself that he was, because he held back a lot of he really had to chain his hunger because on a cognitive level he understood that I can survive this with very minimal food. They can't. Oh my god, it's painful to be this strong.
Yeah, he really did have a lot of willpower in that situation.
Question. Have you shown Mawile the box?
Yeah, I believe I will open up the box.
What's the box?
I'll explain that, some Salandits gave it to us. Oh, they're really doing good for themselves. Helping out around and, staying out of trouble.
Her eyes get all sparkly as she sees the box and what's inside, and then almost immediately, without asking, she's trying to, like, jimmy open the lock on the last container, and she fails and pouts. Darn it. I don't want to have to pay that stupid clef key.
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe going to the key guy.
Well, you can do that later. In any case...
I could just say, hey, but there's gold in here. No one do it.
Gold? Go away! And she throws a rocket. Cophagregus, bonking him in the face, and he flees.
That guy's a hoot.
I didn't realize he was part Noctowl.
I mean, maybe.
Well, we can always try to modify your zapper. I mean, it'll be dangerous, but, you know, experimenting is what we do.
Dude. Shay, did you ever get the chance to go to that observatory? And the moon burnt forest? I don't know how moon can burn stuff.
Moonbound forest, silly.
Moonbound, not moonburn. Okay.
And no, I haven't. I've been waiting for you and Team Cheer. It's not something I'm super pressed about. But also, last I checked, we still have a while until the next full moon. So, we've got time.
Ah, yes.
Let me see... And she starts rummaging through her notes through a calendar.
Oh, quick thing, Tubby. You're doing the thing where you let off the mic button a little early?
Oh, a little too early? Alright.
Yeah, just let you know.
Looks like it's gonna be 28 days, I think? Then again, it might not be totally exact. And if we're lucky, the moon will be full and bright enough that we'll have that observatory open for several days. So, just keep that in mind, I guess.
The two of us, taking a trip on the full moon. Now that sounds wonderful.
And very
Under
romantic.
the moonlight.
Except for the fact that your team is also going to be there.
Yeah.
And then she just sort of elbows Ralph in the ribs. Like, that's going to stop you, Pokenova.
Suddenly, Ralph heavily considers doing a two party member challenge run just so he gets more alone time with Mawile.
Look, just mod PMD games so you can start as a Munchlax and your partner can be a Mawile and just play through the whole game with just them.
That'd be something, wouldn't it? Oh, I probably will go and make a trip to the Cave of Mirrors soon.
She blinks in surprise and sort of drops the playful demeanor and sets down her calendar for the moment. Are you sure?
Not entirely, to be honest, but things are getting dangerous out there, and especially if one of our, especially if our strongest guy is, as much as I hate to admit it, Riley was stronger than I am. Well, the strongest guy, opting to stay here and take care of the other. I feel like I gotta be able to pick up the slack. I was already kind of thinking about evolving. I just things are getting dangerous. Like we're uncovering weird stuff, and I want us to be as ready as possible.
Mawile moves over and holds Ralph's hand. Well, I'll admit, I do worry for you. I still think you're pretty strong. I mean, I'm no slouch either, but also, I've been kind of out of the game for a while, sort of. Let's just say, if you go through with this, I will stand by your decision.
It won't make us any less. He gently holds her hand. It won't make you feel differently about me.
Nope. But you better come back the same Pokemon that I know. It doesn't matter what you look like. But if you changed into a grumpy sourpuss like Pangoro, you have another thing coming.
Oh, no. No, I won't let that happen. I'll be the same old Ralph, just, about 850 pounds more of Ralph.
Give or take. She does not express how much give or take, but she does say give or take.
I'm gonna give a coy smile, and it's like, which would you prefer?
She does that thing where she just playfully pushes you and then goes back to her current research. Well, if you're not busy, I can probably help you with the whole magnet thing now. Or you can probably leave it with me. I don't mind either way. To be honest, they're bringing me back plenty of stuff from the cairn, but a lot of it's just boring translation work, and she just sort of half flops over the desk.
Yeah, they had me on that at one point. You know what? I will leave it with you for now, cause I actually gotta go talk to, Rise or whoever's in the kitchen right now, cause I got us a nice treat. I'm gonna show her the jars of salt. Like, now we can have nice, spiced, salty food.
She blinks. She's like flopped backwards over her desk at the moment, and she blinks and stares at the jars of salt as you hold one in each hand. Or, I mean, you could probably sell that for a lot. Not that they aren't going to appreciate it, as she rolls over and gets back up onto her feet.
You do have 2 of them.
I suppose I could, and not like one. Hey, I could give one to the pioneers and sell one in the market or something.
True, but it's up to you. Either way, I think it'll definitely be appreciated, though I don't think many Pokemon around here are looking to add too much salt to their food.
Well, I mean, no, it's something you gotta have, a little bit'll do you, you know? You get too much on there, and then
your mouth becomes dry and you're craving water, because salt will dehydrate you. Trust me, I know.
Salt is great for
you have
communities that
to do a little bit of a...
stockpile food, though.
Oh, what's that?
Said salt is great for communities that need to stockpile food, though.
That is true. Yep. Very good for preserving.
Yep.
You needed it.
Though, of course, Mawile is missing the one obvious fact about it and focusing on more the immediate consumption bit.
You know, I feel like I am one of
those...
those...
also clean wounds, which is nice.
What's that?
You can also clean and disinfect wounds, which is nice.
That's true. Does Ralph know that, I wonder? Probably. Could figure that out.
But, yeah, probably. I mean, he has most of his human memories.
There was one thing I would like to note that I find a little bit funny. Since this is actually PSMD Mawile, it's kind of funny that she found translation work boring, because she actually had a hell of a passion for that in PSMD. Though I can imagine after doing it for years, perhaps she's trying to get into more... perhaps, her interest in ancient stuff is probably still there. She probably just wants to branch out at this point into the study of actual relics.
I was thinking of a meta joke. What year did Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon come out?
Man, I don't even know at this point.
But what I was gonna say is, she still enjoys it. It's just the work that she's getting from the Cairn is boring.
This is very true. Also, February 2016.
2016, 17, 18. Yeah, when she says, yeah, I've been out of the game for a while, I mean, about 6 years. Like, that would have been funny.
She is officially
very
labeled.
meta.
She's officially labeled as the archaeologist of the Expedition Society. So yes, translation work is part of her job, but probably not all of it. She probably enjoys actually like studying over actual relics more. That's usually the more interesting part of it, archaeology, anyways.
It is not like she dislikes any part of it. It is still the thing that she likes doing most.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it is just that the work she currently has is very dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And as I'm about to leave, oh, there was one more thing. Oh man, what was it? Oh yes. I needed to give you this. I'm gonna like put hand around her back, lean forward, and like do a leaning like dramatic this.
Oh. Mildly flustered Mawile noises. That is very adorable.
Getting it the wrong way, but that's fine.
It's fine. Just because the models aren't the right way doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Alrighty. So I'm gonna head into Pioneering Guild to greet whoever's working the kitchen at the
Which happens to be Rise and Hot Dog, because I specifically remember Hot Dog was not permitted to leave the kitchens yet.
Hey, I'll ring a bell if there's a bell. If not, I'll just be like, knock knock, how you going, again?
You know there's no bell. There's no bell for good reason.
The no bell Peace Prize.
Oh,
I'm gonna act like there's a bell. Ding ding!
Wait, where are you going? Are you at the guild? Are you at the club too?
Yeah, Ralph is at the bar.
Okay. Oh yeah, of course,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Move my hand like there's a bell. Ding ding!
Welcome back, Ralph. Since I've already greeted your other friends, as Rise pads over. And what, praise hell, can I do for you this evening?
Well, for one, it's good to see you. And for two, I brought you a present. Well, you and the whole kitchen. How often do you get to cook with nice spice?
Less often than I'd like to admit.
Bam! Freshly harvested salt straight from the bowels of Mount Shiver.
I'm just imagining Ralph pulling out the jar of salt and in one swift motion just thunk on the counter. Rise blinks a few times, and then his cat eyes do that thing where they become like wide saucers.
The freshest salt in the whole Pioneering Guild.
So in about 2 seconds flat, the jar is gone. Rise has pulled it into a shadow. Effectively cat version of no takebacks. Well, that is very appreciated, Ralph. And I think such noble sacrifice and charity should be rewarded with equal generosity.
You gonna feed me? He's very excited.
And just, Rice had this really nice, kind of coy, kind of sultry smile going, and he just, he deadpans a little bit. Yes, I'm going to feed you, Ralph.
That's just this blood. You gotta feed me.
Super excited.
Just give me about 10 to 15 minutes, alright? I'll make it fresh for you. Hot dog, take care of the remaining orders, will you? I have a special one to tend to. Ah, really? And then Hot Dog looks over and Rise is just giving him this ice cold look, and he's like, fine.
Man, Team 2 just helping out left and right in the kitchen today, huh?
And Tucker and Brooke come down to see Ralph looking really happy, and Hot Dog behind the counter in the kitchen looking mildly grumpy, and Rise looking exceptionally happy, just sort of humming to himself as he's going back and forth, and is seemingly creating a very piled-on bowl of something.
Hot Dog needs pets. Can't catch
Oh,
him
man.
very accurate.
You know, a little kind of scene I imagined after playing it out of my head. I replayed it again, except with like medium-ish quality like sprites, like it was like a Harvest Moon game where you wordlessly gift someone something and it prompts a conversation. Or like Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Like that one Harvest Moon game where you can repeatedly show Claire your dog and then she'll just in one day fall in love with you. Like literally, you could just repeat the interaction with your dog over and over again. They'll just raise your heart levels.
I have a dog. Marry me.
I still have a dog. I continue to have a dog.
It's been 5 seconds. Have you seen my dog? Gosh, and I didn't even play Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley. Mostly because I can't stand the time constraint thing.
That's fair.
It bothers me too
the one
much.
day at a time.
In any case, yes, Tucker and Brooke come down and see that sight going on.
Brooke will wander over.
And so will Tuck.
Brooke will say, ordering thirds again, Ralph?
Oh, I can only hope so, but it looks like they're piling it really good.
So, to describe what's going on in the background while players collect their thoughts so they can do some open roleplay. Rise has got one of those nice little ceramic bowls going, and he's got the equivalent of rice in the bowl with layers of sliced, I would call it bacon, but it's not pork, but effectively sliced meat strips that are the equivalent of bacon that are sort of checker crosshatched over each other in layers, where it's just some rice and some bacon and some rice and some bacon and other stuff with it. And piling on...
Bacon strips.
Yes, and piling on berries and other things that he can into this bowl of all food, question mark?
Munchlax surprise.
Yeah, Munchlax surprise. And he tops it with butter-soaked, pan-toasted grilled cheese.
I'm gonna make something similar after the game. I need to make more sandwiches, and I can make a beef melt, so I will. Also, I have a specific question for Tubby.
Yeah.
So, if I am correct, Tucker is fully aware that you had a couple jars of salt, right?
Yeah, now I have just one.
Was Tucker aware that you were giving some salt to Rise?
I think so. I think I mentioned that I was.
Yeah, you said that you were going to give it to him.
Okay, so Tucker has something specific to say, seeing the two interacting. Tucker would be saying, "Oh, Ralph, did you give the jars of salt to Rise now?"
Yes, I did, and he is very thankful.
Rise
And I'm
flicks
gonna
one ear.
get a great, thankful feast of thankfulness.
Rise
Oh, I
flicks
see what's
one ear.
happening.
Sorry.
Brooke just says, "Oh, I see what's happening."
Yeah, Rise flicks an ear as he brings over this bowl that, when he sits it on the counter, is piled taller than your head.
Some slight drooling.
A few people.
Yeah,
picked
it's
up on
like
it.
layers of rice, meat, and meat strips together, scalloped oran berries with what must be tomato berry sauce. Because tomato berry, if I recall, is one of the spicy berries. Is it tomato berry? I forget. Yeah, there's too many weird
Oh.
names. The spicy red one that's spiky.
That is called a tomato berry. Okay. Well,
Okay, I was right.
That is so weird now that you mention it. It's even the same spelling. What the fuck? Okay.
Tomato,
Yep.
Tomato.
And then,
Isn't
again,
a tomato botanically a berry?
Tomato's a fruit.
Yeah, berries are a sort of.
but yeah, Rice sets this thing down, and yes, it is topped with a grilled cheese where the bread itself was. It almost seems like it was soaked in butter. It's that yellow, and it's nice and toasted, and smells really good. And it's got the cheese all melty and gooey that's starting to drip down. You basically put a sandwich on top of the pile of other food.
Well,
Nice.
Did you just say jars of salt? As in more than one? And he slowly leans over to look past the pile of food.
Tucker cocks his head innocently. He had no way of knowing, after all.
Rise is smiling the most sweet smile he can manage, but you can feel the killing intent.
Yeah, I mean, if hypothetically I had more than one, what could you offer?
Brooke just says, "I have to go take care of Calvin," and leaves.
Will you be pulling Tucker along or leaving him in the situation?
Tucker could stay.
Tucker will elect to leave himself along with Brooke, probably. Realizing the awkward error that occurred. And maybe not wanting to be involved, even if it was his fault. He's not sure. He's gonna step away.
Okay,
Immediately.
okay, Ralph. I need you to make the first roll of the session. I need you to do a smart contest perform and negotiate with Rise.
Hmm.
You do moderately well. I'm going to abstract this one a little bit.
Lucky Hat exists.
It's true. If you want to lucky hat, you can, but also it's not entirely necessary. Rise is willing to do one of two things for that other jar of salt. He can either pay you 300 poke that he's been saving expressly to get nice ingredients, Or
There's a nice ingredient.
it is. It's also very rare. That's not on the table because Hot Dog is actually a decent assistant.
He's not getting out of this one. He's good.
I would decline the offer anyway.
So mean. The other thing is he's willing to offer Ralph extra meals per day as compared to normal for Ralph's rank.
Oh, as tempting as it is, I better take the money.
300 is not that much currently. You kind of, I don't know if it's worth that much or not.
Just, well, well, is that your final decision? I need to make sure if that's your final decision before I have Rise react.
300, you say?
Could chop her out.
I don't know. I got an offer for 325.
Oh no.
That's a bluff.
Is that a roll, Mr. Bluff?
Hang on, I need to find Rise's stats.
Also, does Ralph still have 3 power-ups? I don't think they do.
Oh no, I don't know.
Let's put that over there.
No. Yeah, it was an old belly.
Yeah.
Let's see. Insight contest. Oh, he doesn't have to perform. How sad.
Oh, that's surprising, actually.
Well, he has etiquette and allure.
Ah, that's fair.
Yeah, he's not a performer.
True.
He's more of a spy.
I mean, well, okay. He could be a
Like
performer for
In
certain
the Super
Pokemon.
Spies way.
Yeah. Also, wow.
I think you're bluffing. 300 and no more. My final offer. Or you can take me up on the offer of extra portions.
He's really trying.
How big we talking on these portions?
No, Ralph is cracking.
I'd be willing to
Although-
permit you to have thirds every day.
3 meals a day. Wow.
Well, remember, he's not talking about 3 meals a day. He's talking about thirds.
Ooh.
Portion-wise, 3 meals.
Yeah, because
in a serving.
you all are given basic meals every day.
Right.
You know, assuming you want them.
Bancho.
It's a lot of food.
Yeah, but how often am I here?
That's a good question. That does affect the value of it.
That's true. But just remember, every time you're here, you are going to eat well. And it would certainly be a relief from not eating all that well for a Munchlax out in the field, wouldn't it?
It would. Now, this little arrangement isn't temporary, is it? Like, should my rank go up, the extra portion is carried over to the new ring.
You can see Rise flinch a little bit as he's starting to try and figure out how many meals and how many portions this could end up being. Well, that is to say, if our resources began to run low, I couldn't
promise that you would still be allowed your thirds, of course, but under normal circumstances, certainly.
This is a black hole I'm talking to.
What? Kind of missed part of that.
You know what? It didn't. Since I picked it up on the cheap, 300 is a fair price, and I can use it to buy like supplies and stuff for the team.
Rise gives a slightly strained nod, keeping up the smile.
Well then,
I was planning on selling the second guy anyway. I didn't actually have an offer, it's between you and me, so you totally called.
I've been around the block a few times, Ralph. Though I'll admit it was a decent attempt.
As he snatches the jar faster than the other one, and proceeds. I'll drop your 300 over there
And I
to give you the 300 poke right then and there. And then breathe a sigh of relief.
I'm going to be honest, I was mildly worried for a moment.
yeah, I could tell, and I couldn't trust myself not to, eat, the entire sauce of everything if permitted.
To be fair, it's my own fault for making the offer. But I appreciate your restraint. You're a lot more mature than when I first met you, Ralph. I can appreciate
Right.
that.
Yeah, I guess, fricking, he tries to count it on his hands a whole bunch of miles, and having various things try to kill you will, make you mature pretty fast.
Tell me about it. Well, in fact, don't. Wait until Florence comes back to tell your stories. I'm sure he'll love to hear them.
Oh man, if I had to poke it every time something tried to kill me, oh man, I don't know how many I'd have at a point.
You'd have more than two, and it's enough. But that's our life. Pioneers, explorers, rescuers, knights. We're all out in this dangerous world, doing things that we feel is right. But just like I told Tucker, don't let people turn you into a hero, Ralph.
Yeah, I definitely don't feel like a hero per se. Sometimes in brief moments I do, but he shrugged. Yeah, I don't know. It's just business as usual. As when I reach the bottom, I literally will be licking the bottom of the plate. Like the entire thing just crunching.
Want to be a
They ain't
hero
even-
with the wrong team.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, people might.
As you are starting to lick the bottom of the bowl, Rise just uses his tail to present you with another piece of buttered toast to soak up whatever is left in the bottom.
Oh yeah, for sure. You'll take that nice and full. Yum yum yum. Yeah, that's good. It's kind of similar to a dream I had when we first, towards when we first met. I had a dream where you were like feeding me a whole bunch of yummy food.
Are you sure you don't have the gift of prophecy?
Maybe you're related to Azatu.
No, you're not dressed the same as him. Alright, that's... So I'll leave you with that.
I just you cut yourself off early twice, and I'd like to think of it as Ralph cutting himself off as he's saying these things because he knows that it's a bad idea, and it does take Rise a minute to realize that what Ralph might have been implying, and just as Ralph is leaving.
Yeah, he leaves like with a little smirk, like knowing he'll be about halfway to the door before it dawns.
Yep, you're leaving as it dawns on Rise, and he squints in your direction, and you can feel the heat on the back of your neck. More mature my tail. And Rise goes to clean up dishes.
I mean, it was a long time ago, but yeah, I did make you bluster on, bro.
Excellent.
Not so much bluster.
So, that's amusing. Well, 300's pretty good, actually. There's a lot of stuff you can get for pretty dang small amounts of money. So
yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of the cost equivalents are based off of the games, where stuff is sort of based off of yen amount, kind of. So it's weirdly expensive for some things that you would think would be very basic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because a yen is more like a few cents than a dollar.
Yeah, and like for instance, what is it? They suggested like some berries be in the hundreds, I think. Let me see if the costs are in here. No, it just has rarities, not costs.
And of course, when it comes to Pokeroles itself, they decided they wanted their own kind of weird bartering system. So it was like they were doing not doing like the games.
Divide by roughly 90 or 80.
Yeah, like here in food, Big Apple worth 10 apples, or in this case it would be 10 poke. Delicious Rocks are worth 500. A golden apple is worth 1,000, and a piece of meat is worth 100. But like, the thing with that is, it's all based off of the gamification of the food bar, which is really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So instead, most of the pricing has been just sort of on the fly randomness.
Create your own. So you could say it that way. You could say you've done your own financial system for this game, which sounds a lot more cool. Like you're doing,
It sounds like I know what I'm doing, but I don't. Now then, since you all are free of the clubhouse for the moment, what all would you like to do with the rest of your evening?
Well, Tucker was actually going to walk out with Brooke for another reason, so they could have a talk with him. But let's see what Brooke wants to do first.
Brooke was just going to address Calvin and point him in Rise's direction for supplies and basically see him off.
Okay.
Well, Calvin is going to thank you again for, being decent and, being friends. And they hope that they're going to be able to stick around longer next time, even though they've already said this and apologized about having to go about a dozen times now.
Yeah, Brooke might be a little... Yeah, I get it. Just head on over. Because I know that he's anxious to get moving.
Yeah. Tucker doesn't hold their time either, but is appreciative towards their efforts. They definitely moved quickly after all. How tired do they look, anyways?
Fairly tired. After some refreshment, they'll be better.
Horses have impressive stamina.
They
that was
do.
Quite a trip, too.
But
so.
they do need to rest. If you run them too hard, it's bad.
Yeah.
But they'll go inside as Ralph is leaving. and they're going to ask after Rise, which is going to force Rise to put aside their current feelings due to Ralph and actually be professional. It's also around this point that Pangoro is going to be chatting with Blaze about the whole situation, giving Calvin some of the club's resources, and Ralph is going to vaguely hear through the open door as Calvin brushes past an unhappy Charizard being very grumpy with the Pioneer leader.
This is fair.
Well, now I'm probably just gonna look for supplies and stuff for now. So if Tucker wants to talk, we can talk.
Does Blaze take care of food stuff too, stock-wise?
He's the Pioneering Club quartermaster, so he deals with anything to do with equipment or material requisition.
So he does all the non-food stuff, right? Yeah.
Generally, but also it is his job to help effectively balance the books.
Right.
So when it comes to acquisitions like food, he is also involved.
I was thinking it's good that Ralph didn't take up Rise of the other offer, because then both Pangoro and Rise would be coming and saying, "Hey, we're going to lose a bunch of supplies." At the same time.
Yeah, Blaze might have had a panic attack. Do you have any idea how hard it is to do logistics for this organization? Ah! And I know that's not Blaze's voice, but... So, look, my character in the streamed Pathfinder game is the frickin' quartermaster for the ship, so I know the pain.
So, Brooke will be going back to our base then?
I think he's heading for the shopping. Area, yeah.
Okay. Tucker will have to stop into the base for a second to offload that heavy box first, but he'll probably just put it on effectively our reception desk. I think we have one at this point, right? So
yeah,
y'all have a reception desk.
He'll leave it there. He'll put it behind the counter just in case somebody could steal it or something. But that's good enough, probably. So it's a lot of money. So, but he'll otherwise just pop in for that and then join Brooke on the walk. And as we're walking to shopping, he will bring up something to Brooke. He'll be like, you know that whole tapestry thing?
You mean with the knights that the seamstress wanted to talk about?
Yeah. The seamstress wanted me to get a tapestry from them to see if we could repair it. But the knights didn't want to give one up. So, he kind of fumbles a little bit. And then kind of neatly gets into his bag as they're walking. Stopping for a second to do so. I sort of took one. He kind of says sheepishly.
Brooke just laughs. No way, he did?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I'm not exactly going to do what the knights don't want me to do. I'm not exactly going to do what the seamstress wants me to do. I don't want to mess with this one. If they don't want it repaired, I still respect that, but, well, the seamstress said maybe I could make tapestries too, so maybe we could use this as a reference and make a brand new one, I'm thinking.
That sounds like a good idea to me.
They might get a little mad when they realize that it's missing, but if I don't mess with it particularly, I don't think they'll be too mad.
I think there was a garment shop in that shopping area, right?
Yes, kind of, sort of. It's the Kakuna shop.
Yeah, it was Kakuna Shop. I think I know a guy who might be able to help us.
Oh, that'd be great.
Kakuna.
I'm hoping that if we can show them that brand new ones can be made and that are just as good, well, hopefully they might accept that.
Something tells me that it's the tradition that counts for them, but it wouldn't hurt to try.
He nods a little bit solemnly. Yeah, but, well, I hope they understand eventually that tradition doesn't repair those things. Not up here. Not around here, at least. And it might be better for their tradition if they do get fixed up. It certainly shows them off better.
Maybe we can get some materials, at least.
It's worth a shot, at least, I think. Brooke's pride. Oh, you stole that. It's awesome.
I think that's a very Brooke response.
I do. I agree. Tucker had a moment there where he wasn't sure if he would get admonished when he showed off the tapestry carefully.
Definitely not from Brooke.
Calvin, when they overhear they stole the tapestry, you what?
He didn't do around Talbot, I'll say that much.
I'll be fair, Calvin doesn't care. The old tapestries do not interest Calvin at all.
Okay.
Tucker might spend more time studying it in downtime, too. Maybe fold it out on their second floor table and just kind of inspect it.
Yeah, Brooke will lead him to Kakuna, and if you can help them find at least fabric or something, or some way to sew.
Yeah. Tucker will, in that case, if they do go to that shop, Tucker will carefully bring out the tapestry again to kind of show the material it is to the Kakuna.
What about Ralph? What is Ralph gonna do?
Yeah, I'm gonna visit the key and ask him if they can open it. My box.
I'm going to talk to Klefki.
Yeah.
So, to get this box opened, the clef key wants a gold bar.
He calls it a GB because Huffagregus lives here.
Yes, actually, they do call it a GB, and when they have to describe to you what it is, they go through this whole rigmarole of, it's rectangular and metallic and yellow, as they're looking nervously and sweating as they see Huffagregus slowly turning to face them.
Man, if they didn't say metallic, like rectangular, yellow, I'm like, you want some cheese? I bet I could go get some.
No, I don't want cheese. I want, you don't eat it usually. It's a bartering material.
I see.
Clearly, he means butter. No, but eventually the clef key does write it down, basically Wile E. Coyote signage with gold bar written on it, just gesturing wildly to the sign.
Yes, I see. Actually, I could imagine the Huffagregus holding up a sign that says "Gold?"
I have to wonder how often Klefki charges gold, like if it's because the specific box is harder or something, or if he has to go through this retrieve of a lot of people.
Only because of the difficulty of the lock.
I see.
They try to avoid it. Normally they would charge money, but also they're charging a gold bar mostly because they may need multiple tries to get this lock open.
Mm-hmm.
And also they don't charge gold very often because if they have to say it out loud, then they have to deal with Kafagrigus.
Alrighty. I suppose. Yeah, I suppose that's it for my 9 on the town.
Okay.
Okay.
There's only 1 gold in our party's possession, but that is lizards, so...
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably ask Lizard. Lizard might not care.
I also have one.
Oh, you
Yeah.
do?
Oh, you do?
Yeah, that's right.
I keep forgetting because
you
it's
put it in
down
your
there.
currency bar. I forgot. That's true.
Nice. Yeah,
Never mind,
blends
there's
right
two.
in.
There's 2 gold still
Yeah.
hovering around.
I honestly forgot what Kafagrigus sells.
Did Tekker buy a plushie, I think?
Kafagrigus sells valuable things. Kafagrigus is the loot box of merchants.
Oh, so it can be completely random.
Yes, but it is always a good thing.
Kafagrigus is pay $39.99 for the latest draw. You might also get a bonus character if you do. I don't.
Oh gosh,
Well, we
please!
have to need the character right now.
I beg anyone in the future, if you decide to make any sort of like fan game or whatever out of this, please do not make Kafagrigus an actual loot box mechanic.
How to add microtransactions to
Just
your game.
please no. Like,
Kafagrigus.
not even in jest. I can accept if there's a reference, like a sign by Kafagrigus' shop that you can read that references it, but please don't make them a loot box.
Very fair.
Jesting aside.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna head back to HQ to kick my feet up. And
It's a
wait
good
for
thing-
the others, I guess.
That you have an entire room to yourself. Though Lizard and Riley are there doing their own thing.
Yeah.
You probably won't even
Let's
see
test
them. I
out
think
a-
they're in their room.
Yeah. I'm gonna suss out if my room's even big enough for a Munchlax to fit.
What do you got in that
Like,
room again?
Munchlax rather.
Mostly just
Um,
a bed, I think.
no, I actually just have a comfy, rug because I realize that I will eventually outgrow a bed.
Oh yeah, that's right. You planned ahead.
Mm.
Yeah, and have books and stuff. I might have a copy of the map on the wall or something. I don't know.
I think you do.
Yeah.
Yay, we have an actual representation of your map copy.
Yeah, like
That you can
kinda
update now with some of the places you've been.
yeah, kind of taped to the wall, and I probably have like my books here.
That would make sense.
Like, cause I have the locations book.
Oh, right, you guys have like a bunch of root salve in your storage, as well as
Yeah.
a clump of marie wool.
Oh, that's the composite parts of the zapper.
Yeah.
No, I mean like in HQ storage there is a clump of marie wool.
Oh yeah, I probably got extra.
Yeah, you probably had extra. Pretty sure
Yeah.
you did.
Who knows? You might need it for your zapper upgrade.
We also have an atlas, which is actually that's worth noting. That could be updated. Ralph, you could actually update that if you want to during downtime.
Well,
Oh, yeah. I don't remember where the marie pool came from.
Oh.
Got it in exchange for a souvenir in Sea Spray.
Oh, right. Yeah. Though the most Ralph will be able to update is the Snowrunt Hamlet, which is not marked in the atlas anywhere.
Is this map accurate to the atlas? What it contains?
Considering the handmade nature of basically any map of the Plains continent at the moment, yes.
Accuracy adjacent, I suppose.
Yeah, it's accuracy adjacent. I know it's major landmarks were labeled, but again, this is handmade So there's only... It can only be so accurate, so some stuff may be slightly off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you were to follow it, you'd roughly hit the spots on it.
Yes.
Helps you get in the right direction, at the very least.
But Brooke and Tucker are greeted by an interesting sight of, instead of a Kakuna, you find a Beedrill sitting at the little clothing stall, but its lower half is still stuck in its Kakuna shell.
Oh.
And they wave at you. They recognize you, even if you do not quite recognize them.
Who has visited this shop? Was it just Brooke?
It was me. I came like twice or 3 times actually.
I think this is the 3rd or 4th time. Yeah.
I vaguely remember you have been here before, but I don't remember what for.
I just like talking to him.
Fair enough.
I like me and the postmistress.
Yeah, unfortunately,
And
they don't. They are no longer vibrating Kakuna that falls over.
Hey, Kakuna? Is that still accurate?
Nope, I'm a Beedrill now. As their wings just sort of buzz behind them.
Brooke kind of glances down at their lower half and says, "I can see that."
Congratulations, says Tucker.
Well, at least you aren't making mention of the handicap, so what can I do for you today? As they, like, lift both of their spike arms in the air and flop to the side because they were keeping themselves upright. Yep, that still happens. Wait, hey! And they sort of quickly push themselves back upright. I heard that you helped out a hive out east.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. The Vespa Queen.
Yeah.
I should be thanking you for that. Technically, I'm from that hive.
Oh, well, you're welcome. We didn't know that. We were just trying to help out anybody that needed help, and he needed help, so...
We helped.
Pioneers down to the core. I knew it was a good investment becoming friends with you. They're smiling. And you can actually tell they're smiling now because they have a face.
That helps.
And Brooke says, "Well, my friend here is looking to get into sewing. Do you know how we could get started?"
Well, they look over Tucker kind of sympathetically. Mostly because they understand the lack of hands.
Before he has anything else to say, kind of understanding the look, Tucker pipes up and says,
I'm not entirely sure how to get started myself, but the seamstress actually vouched for me.
Oh, you met her, huh? They look nervous almost immediately upon mention of the seamstress.
Yeah, I don't quite understand what she meant, but she said I had a potential of making tapestries. In fact, she had me get one from the knights.
and he pulls out the tapestry from his bag and sort of just kind of pulls it up and shows off what he can of it without getting too much without getting on the ground.
Whoa, whoa, put that away, that's old. You don't want to expose that to the sun and the wind.
That's true, but it kind of already was.
They pause, get a scrutinizing look about them, and sort of scooch themselves closer to observe what they can. Well, I don't have anything that quite matches this, but And then they motion to the other two Beedrill that are still just sort of hanging around. And are very clearly this one's friend, having stuck with them through all this. And they start rummaging through the literal pile of garments that they have for sale. Something is like bobbing for apples, but it's bobbing for garments.
Also, yes, Tucker did make an assumption they would know the seamstress. They are kind of in a similar line of work, after all.
It's kind of like everyone in fashion knowing like all of the
Yeah.
things.
I feel
You
like
gotta be in the
somebody.
know.
I feel like somebody in the market specifically mentioned the seamstress. I feel like it was the Kakuna, but I may be wrong.
It's possible.
I think it was, yeah, because we asked about a damaged scarf.
Right. And they said
And
something
they were-
about the seamstress being able to repair it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and they just sort of display for you a couple garments that at least have the same color fabric. They're not quite all the same, of course. Plus, that tapestry was probably made with some real old and special stuff. Nothing in my stock is exactly the same. You would probably want... They sort of rub their head with one of their, like, needle hands. Honestly, it almost feels like you would want feathers for this.
Feathers?
He's actually a little surprised.
Is this made with feathers?
He kind of looks over the tapestry.
I'm not an expert, so I can't exactly say. Unfortunately, I'm much more of a seller than a maker. But this stuff is light and durable. You probably want feathers for at least some of it. At least some of the trim has survived anyway, and that's what I assume it's made of. But
That's
the
interesting.
colors make me think of Ho-Ho. Not that they could have possibly been made from a legendary's feathers.
All I know is that the knights said that there is quite a tradition in making this. I don't know what that tradition is, but they hung up these tapestries and they're going to wear because nobody here can do this tradition, so they just leave them like this.
As a side note, this is one of the tapestries that was around before the knights occupied the gallantry.
Oh. Wait, then do they know the tradition that was used for this? For making this?
No.
Hmm.
But they are treating all tapestries in the gallantry with the same respect.
That's fair. Interesting.
Okay.
Well, honestly, the red color makes me think of a couple Pokemon, but not many of them you could make, fabric out of what they can give you. What about the Volcarona? You're talking about sending them towards the volcano. That's not exactly nice. I don't want to lose any more customers.
Hey, we've been through one volcano already.
You have?
Mount Shiver. It was quite hot inside, actually.
The Beedrill all look between each other and buzz and converse very briefly. Well, that's concerning. But nothing we can do about it.
Where does Volcarona live?
Tucker asked curiously.
You can probably find some Volcarona down south. There's actually a fairly active volcano, I guess. Would you call it active? I don't know. I'm not a geologist. Look, we just sell garments. Anyway, there's this forest that's basically constantly on fire. It's down south, closer to Sea Spray. Around the edge of the continent.
Oh, that sounds dangerous. but kind of easy to find, probably.
It is dangerous. It's why I don't suggest you go there. Besides, you want Volcarona wings. You have a hard time getting those without, you know. And then buzzes the wings for effect.
Tucker gulps a little uncomfortably at that fact.
Anyway, you're probably better off asking the seamstress herself what she wants. Like I said, I'm no expert in making, just in selling. When a Geodude gets sick, do they go to the doctor or to a geologist?
Why, though?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's wonderful. I appreciate it.
Tucker kind of nods, though.
Yeah, I was going to ask the seamstress too, but I appreciate your advice and information as well. I mean, perhaps I can figure out what to do with both informations I can get. I wouldn't want to hurt any Volcarona, though, if I don't have to.
Honestly, one of the best things you can probably do is get some wool from a reap or from a wooloo, and then have it dyed. Simple as that. Then again, the seamstress can probably make her own thread.
Well, we don't have to recreate the tapestry immediately. We can get some scraps for you to practice on.
Yes. Is there any fabrics I could just use to maybe practice the patterns or something?
The mercantile Beedrill just sort of gestures with one arm towards a pile of older, sort of scrapped or ragged garments. A pile that Brooke will find to be a bit familiar. Give me 5 poke and you can take whatever you want out of the pile. I don't mind.
Deal.
Tucker is totally okay with giving 5 poke for that.
Nice.
Oh, hang on. I need to get...
A 5, yeah.
I wish we had a 5 instead of 1.
Yeah, 5 would have been good. I don't know why that denomination... Yeah, I didn't think of it at the time. I think I was making new denominations on top of the old
There
one.
you go.
So.
Go ahead and take it.
Okay. Did you take
Now
a 10?
we'll take the 10.
Alright. Tucker will rummage for a little variety. He's not going to take too much because he's polite, but he will take a decent portion, and he'll make sure to try to grab different fabrics, since it's possible one fabric might work better than the other. So he just grabs some variety.
Just as some advice, you might want some protection for those paws of yours, buddy. I know how hard it can be to work on fabric without paws. They sort of wave their needles a bit, just for emphasis, and they flop over again and buzz in annoyance. I thought that part of my life was going to be over.
Oh, that's a good advice. I'll try to get something to protect them. I guess it can be sharp work, huh?
Does Tucker even have a needle?
Not yet.
No, I don't know where to get one at the moment. We'll look around.
That's kind of a fine tool, so I don't know. Is there one available somewhere?
I mean, I don't even know how Tucker would make a needle work, but sure.
Well, I don't know. He's relying entirely on the seamstress saying he has the ability, and he's not entirely sure how he has the ability, but he's going to see about it.
When it comes to making tapestries and stuff like that, you normally want a loom.
A loom.
Looms are very bulky things. So,
Does the seamstress have a loom? Was there a loom in her
yes,
place?
she does have a loom.
Alright, I figured. Probably. Would make sense considering she wanted to redo the tapestry, so it makes sense she has one. Then that's probably where Tucker has to start trading. But he could try some needlework on his own if he wanted to. Though that would be tricky.
It would be tricky, but it's something you can always try.
Tucker does think to ask then.
Do you also have any needles for sale?
You mean besides these?
Tucker giggles.
Yeah, maybe for somebody that's not a bug.
Sorry. We only sell the clothes, not what's needed to make them.
who makes your clothes?
Generally speaking, we're traders. In fact, we tend to get a lot of our stuff from the spinner rack that come by. We sell the garments, the basic ones anyway. And then we pay the spinner rack their fair share. It goes to the seamstress, cycle continues.
I see.
That's fair.
To be honest, I think the spinner rack kept trying to sell to single Pokemon out on the street, but they kept finding that they were getting ignored or avoided. I really can't blame them for trying to find business partners like that. But at least this way, we don't have to directly deal with her.
Beautiful yet terrifying.
Anyway, is there anything else I can do for you today, my wonderful customers?
Tucker shakes his head politely.
No, but thank you for the information on some of these fabrics. I'll try to get started on figuring how to do this when I can.
Well, let me know how it turns out. It'll be nice to have another business partner in this town. One who won't eat me if I have to visit them.
Tucker kind of chuckles at that.
You don't have to
No
worry about that for me.
No guarantees we have a Munchlax.
I'll still take a Munchlax over her. I still have no idea how you guys managed to survive. But, all for the better. Oh, wait, before I forget. You can probably make some fabrics out of plant stuff, so you might be able to ask a grass type.
Oh, that's true.
Tucker kind of thinks for a second, and is like possibly aware of that. Perhaps an old memory of some textile crops around where he used to be.
I don't know if we know many grass types.
In fact, both of you are free to roll Smart Logic at the moment.
Okay.
Gasp, a Smart Logic roll and Ralph isn't there? What's the roll coming to?
4 smart.
I have 5 smart logic. Not very smart.
Sorry, Tucker does not remember anything involving fabric crops.
I think he'll have a vague memory of, like, that sounds familiar, but that's all it will be.
Brooke does, though. Because Brooke had to fix their own clothes when they were on the road.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, one of the most common fabric crops is obviously cotton. But, of course, there's also grass-type Pokemon that could help provide things like that, like the Cottony or Whimsicott. And also, your winter clothing, there's the Cincino fur.
Of course.
But if you wanted something durable, you'd probably want something made from bamboo fiber.
Ooh,
Ooh.
that's a thought that Brooke
Which-
may have.
Which will immediately give Brooke the thought of there is only one Pokemon in this Arceus Forsaken town that has anything to do with bamboo.
Something to bring up with Pangoro later.
Yep, but there is a lot of different ways to make fabric. There is plant fiber of various kinds. There is silk of various kinds that is produced by insects. And there's also like pelts and fur and various other things. So there's multitudes of ways to go about it.
stop by Mudbray's ranch on the way. Back to Sea Spray. Maybe say hi. It's a thought. Because of the Mareep there.
Oh man, Mudbray! Who I can never remember if he is the cousin, uncle, or father of Mudtail.
Relative.
He is the relative of Mudtail, and that is all there is to it.
I think it was Uncle. I believe it was Uncle. It might be all of them. Who knows? Complicated family tree.
He's the father, according to Nano.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Gosh, doing so many voices. Well, is there any more shopping you wish to do?
Probably just resupply. I am curious if there's like a... I don't know. I have a bunch of like materials, but I don't know what to do with them exactly. Like the heat stone, the gemstone, and the glailing horn.
Well, those could be used in the creation of items, or you can sell them.
It's like a blacksmith or something.
Oh.
Well...
I don't think we've heard of one, like, in character.
In character, I don't think you've heard about a smith, but you can always ask.
And Tucker was... I guess Tucker did have a curiosity at one point if those wedding bands could be turned into anything useful.
It's true, you have those as well.
Maybe. And also, he does... I wonder if... I just had this thought now. I wonder if the seamstress would care about that old magic jewelry shell. It was a jewel that had energy, and now it's just a jewel, but it's still a jewel.
I believe she mentioned she can't do anything with it.
Oh, did she?
It's outside her area of expertise.
Fair. They could be re-imbued, perhaps, with something else, maybe.
Potentially, yes.
Potential chance of that.
And I believe Brooke passed off the wedding bands to Tucker as like, oh, well, you can probably get them made into earrings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking to myself, yeah, actually, that's a good point. You know what? Tucker would probably see... There's probably somebody in town that can convert that for him. It's not a terribly complicated process, I feel, when you already have the material.
Well, you say that, but that requires someone who can be a jeweler to some extent.
Okay. And there is anybody in town for that?
I don't know. Who wants to roll Doom Die?
Let's
Hey,
let
I
Ralph...
get to make
Ralph, you could... Participation.
One do that.
Ralph, determine if I have to make a new NPC.
Here we go.
A 1.
Not much doom.
There is not a jeweler in town, but I'm also not surprised.
I'm not surprised either. That's gonna have to be a
Yeah.
sea spray thing, then.
Yet. Like,
Or
a
we
lot of this is probably stuff you can do. with
It just occurred to me, a jewel that is out of energy but possibly could be re-imbued with something, and earrings that a jewel could be affixed to, technically. Well, eventual
Yeah.
earrings. I see a potential recipe here.
Always combine X with Y to see what happens.
Oh gosh, we're a point-and-click game.
Oh, by the way, I did kind of do a quietly card, but I added this as an inventory item.
Yep, I saw.
I figured it counted as 1, because it's probably a bundle, a little, not a crazy huge bundle.
Aside from that, I guess we'd like head to the berry farm.
Ah.
This is fair. Oh, there is one more topic that Tucker will actually bring up with Brooke.
Okay.
Mostly just to touch base.
You know, that big guy fellow, if he has all those poniards as his, friends or teammates, we saw a number of poniards along our travels, didn't we?
Brooke will kind of think about it, but doesn't seem to quite remember that too clearly. Well, honestly, the only one I remember was the one from the arena.
I wasn't paying
I
too much
some-
attention, but... Oh, go ahead.
I somehow doubt that he's involved with them.
Well, it's not good to judge a species on what a group does.
He kind of stammers on that, knowing the Shadow Scavengers exist.
But I did find it weird. I remember a few that were just watching, and I didn't really give them too much thought.
He struggles to remember too. There was perhaps one at the pond, where they got Laddie. Around that area, I believe there was one. There's another one somewhere else, but he can't quite remember it. I can't either.
Yes, you guys did encounter poniards in various spots across your journeys.
Well, they might not be related, but it did seem like they were patrolling and watching out for something. I'm not sure if that even has anything to do with anything, but I thought I'd mention it.
It's probably a good thing to note, but at the moment, we don't have to get involved.
Tucker nods again.
Yeah. The Knights are handling it, I know.
Still, keep an eye out and let me know if you see anything weird.
Tucker does nod to that. We actually fought one as well, Chin?
I know you fought one in the arena. There was an initiative document that had it for the arena.
Mm-hmm. I remember that one. That's the only one I really took note of.
Ironically, that's the only one I forgot, for the most part.
So why are you heading to the orchard at the moment?
Oh, well, we're pretty low on healing items.
You have root salve.
It's true, but I don't want to dip too far into that.
That's true. But you also don't know what Pangoro is going to give you.
That's true.
But again, I won't fault you for doing what needs doing. The orchard seems to be doing fairly well for the moment. They haven't suffered any recent misfortunes. So, is it Simisage or Pansage that's the evolved form? I can never remember. Yeah, Simisage and Simipore.
Simisage, Simipore, and Simisir. Right?
Well, there isn't a Simisir here.
I'll just remember the three.
Yep. But Simisage and Simipore are happy enough to sell you some berries if you so desire. Though they do warn you that unfortunately a lot of their citrus berries at the moment are tied up in being given to other pioneers prior to missions. But they do have status alleviation berries, as well as oran berries.
I think poison was pretty bad that one time, so it'd be nice to have some of that.
Yeah, that doesn't make us feel very good, regardless of the status effects, too.
Etcha berries? Mm-hmm. Not exactly the most common around here, but we'll see what we can do.
I'm also pretty sure that's not Simisage's voice, but I have changed it.
I think it's similar, I think. I can't quite remember myself.
I remember that, like, I gave them a hippie / Elvis Presley voice.
Close
I
enough.
swear.
It's fitting.
How many are you looking for?
Probably just 2 for me. Tucker can have a couple too if he wants to buy them.
Yeah, Tucker will be interested in having a couple as well, if possible. He also is interested in restocking. He planned on taking a few root cells, but yeah, they always do seem to run a little low on things, so.
Alright. They're going to charge you 25 per pecha.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 50. It just happens to be 50 here in the stack.
Okay. Yeah, Tucker would most likely split with Brook, not make Brook pay the whole thing. So he'll give up his 100 and split it for 50, I guess. What broke his money? Oh, here you go.
I'll give you my 50 that way.
That's a simpler way of doing it.
We don't have to deal with the bank.
Good.
That way you get 2 each.
Yeah.
Yes. It should be enough to share amongst the party.
Should.
And I still have room for 7 more items.
Here you go.
1 second. Well,
I got room for 6.
Kind of skip or-
I might probably could have put the winter clothing away at base actually.
Yeah, probably gonna do that later.
Yeah, once back actually at base. Besides popping in to put the box down, he hasn't really been at the base yet.
Oh. Simapore asks if you all have any seeds on you that you'd be willing to give to the orchard. Whether they are the use type seeds, like the kind that Ralph has, or berry seeds. Simasage is aware, by the way, that you all have the garden, but he's polite enough to not ask for anything from that as of yet.
Mm-hmm. Just started. Probably isn't mature yet.
Will that garden be able to propagate itself? Like, can we get seeds from the results to then grow more things?
Would encourage seed grow an encouraged tree? Like encourage fruit? Or encouraged tree, I
Can you
guess.
make it into a cool? Can you make it into a cool tablet and have an encouragement? I don't know.
An encouragement.
It's like an achievement, but not quite.
Encouragement is a great idea for an item.
It's an encouragement.
Screw it, it's a thing now.
all the greatness of an encouraged seed, and now in a tasty mint form.
Not a nice, cool knit form.
Brooke will say we
Available in two flavors, peppermint and spearmint.
Kind of sounds like a Miltank spot. I'm like, it's like an encouraged seed, but it's just more chill and enjoyable.
What were you saying, Kyrio?
Brooke will mention that they don't have any on them, but they'll keep their eyes out.
Okay.
Sorry for interrupting. I was running with that.
Basically, they let you know that if you donate these items, they will, of course, once they're grown, give you a portion of the
Yield?
crop that is grown from it, which means you are going to always at least get one back in reimbursement. And they will pay you a little bit as well, if they can.
Nice.
Something to share with Ralph then, since he has a seed, unlike the rest of us.
Yep. And if they can't pay you, the very least they can do is trade you a berry.
Right.
So, for instance, if they can't pay you, say you give them, I don't know, a rostberry, and you receive 2 rostberries in turn, and they're unable to pay you the other 50, they might give you 2 oranberries instead.
Nice.
It's an investment system. Give items, go on adventures, come back, there's more items for you.
Yep. It's very similar to Miltank's material request. If you get stuff from a Miltank, you get rewarded for it. But, you know, you also have the choice. You can use these same materials for the orchard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Ralph needs a gold, and Brooke needs an encouraged seed, perhaps, so that might work.
Pretty steep price, but
Does Ralph have need of a gold bar?
That's a good question. I mean, yes, he
I
does.
do, because I need to open it.
Not sure if he's going to ask Brooke, but he does have need of one.
Okay. Well, we're probably gonna head back to base now.
I was going to say, when you head back to base, are you going to pull out the link cable and trade?
Alright, back to base then.
Sure.
Okay. In that case, I was trying to think if I did write down on this maybe shop for Tucker. So I was like, was there anything else? Was there? Well, I mean, Tucker would be interested in getting an Oran berry at the very least, probably, to have some means of healing.
Okay.
So he'll probably drop the other 50 on that, assuming it's another 50.
Alrighty. Give me 1 sec.
Orb berries are more useful than they seem because of our plink damage mechanic. If,
There you
like,
go.
In a typical... Oh, 2 of them? Nice. Oh, yeah,
Well, yeah, it's
25 each.
50.
Yeah, two is good. Alright, take that. Because, like, with our plate damage mechanics, an Orb berry, even though it only heals 1 damage, is supremely more useful than if we didn't have plink mechanics.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's true. And not to
Basically
really bring it
getting
up.
higher attack.
Yeah, and also not to bring it up too much, but the party sacrificial healer is gone.
That was a coy observation I was making with the earlier statement, actually. Like, yeah, we kind of need healing, so...
That's kind of why I wanted to stop by the Varian farm, too.
Fair.
Yeah.
We're a little more vulnerable than you were used to.
You are not so heroically invincible. Another thing, though, is that when Ralph is first traveling to the HQ earlier, you are going to notice a Pokemon with a wide-brimmed sort of shaded hat, almost like one you would see on a beekeeper. A good description is kind of like Lizard's hat, but wider brimmed, and it has a veil and a cloak on, and they seem to have what appear to be traps and various gadgetry of a primitive kind, you could call it, that is heading towards the market.
Who noticed this? Ralph or me and... Or
Ralph would have noticed this
Ralph.
on his way to the HQ before you guys, because you guys were already headed to the market.
Okay. Is there what are they? What's their? Do they have any discerning features that Ralph could tell?
Something. I haven't decided what Pokemon this is yet. But I figured I would at least mention this for Ralph in case Ralph was interested in it.
I will also respond. Zarek said, "How is Egg Charm?" So during this day of events, Tucker, like I said, has folded the blanket, made a little blanket sling along his side for the egg, and he's just been kind of keeping it close the entire time he's been doing things. Check it out now and then, making sure it's obviously not going to fall out of the blanket or anything. Doting certainly. I assume the egg is rather warm. Is it moving at all?
It is quite warm, and it has been moving. In fact, it's moving a fair bit.
He may wriggle himself when it does, just out of reflex. He's definitely keeping an eye on it, and perhaps it's distracting a bit more here and there as it wriggles more and more. He is very interested to keep an eye on it, especially now that it is apparently getting close to hatching.
I'll just pull out a random one.
It's just Cloister again.
Oh my gosh! Do not tempt me, sir! Also, as a check-in, are you okay, Tubby? Okay. I just want to make sure.
Was that a yes?
I know I've been sort of flip-flopping between you guys.
Oh no, Flitter, we're good.
You good? Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Alright, so we have a cart going towards the market, I presume.
Tips to befriend your...
Or,
That was a good page. Tips to befriend
There.
your Pokemon. 4. Pamper them. Excellent advice.
That is good. Does it look like they have anything of particular interest? I might browse.
He has currently figured that out. He is currently trying to identify what he's going to make this thing. And take your time, by the way.
If people have suggestions in chat, I will take them.
Oh, look at that little bit of chat involvement. What Pokemon do you guys think this will be? Given the description, this is wearing kind of a hat like Lizard, but bigger and kind of veiled. So it looks kind of mysterious. I assume, kind of trying to keep itself a little bit shrouded.
Protect themselves from the sun a bit.
Protect.
I mean, I was almost tempted to make it another Helioptile, but that would be rude.
The mere description gave me Helioptile vibes immediately, but I'm thinking Deadeye is a little more unique than that. So,
I mean, at least they're going to have both their eyes.
Suggestions. Yeah, so what
but
kind of
I
cool,
will-
mysterious figure is this?
Yeah, I'll let the chat cook up suggestions, but for now, for Ralph, most of what they seem to have look like readily set-upable traps. And,
Like on a belt?
well, not just on a belt, but also in their cart.
Okay.
And, like, in a satchel that they have across one shoulder. And sort of one-off looking gadgets. Like, one of the things you spy that is on their hip, Ralph, looks like a very crude grenade, question mark?
Huh.
It looks like something made of, like a cage of dried reeds with some sort of pouch inside that contains a liquid or something. And what appears to be a little plunger sort of device at the top that is probably used to puncture the pouch that is held inside the cage.
Ralph, you should ask if you could observe whether the traps look lethal or non-lethal, but I'm not trying to steer your character. I'm just going to tell you what to do. It's fine.
They are of both natures.
I'm gonna ask about the thing. So that there it explodes, right?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, I'm just going to. I'm not even going to give them a voice yet.
Fair.
They will
Chat
respond...
has given you a million of suggestions, by the way.
Okay, I will look at chat briefly. They respond that it does, and tell you that they are not in the market to give a demonstration right now.
Right.
At least if you want to
is
continue seeing.
Is it legal?
Is it legal?
Is it legal? That just reminds me of the Pokemon Dogs in Love video with Gunbryon seeing PDA on the menu and going, "That's illegal."
My roommate.
Let's
says
see.
that, you know.
What's that?
So like
What's
say
that?
in a hushed tone, a sort of. It's not a deal breaker if it is.
Oh gosh, no! It can't be. It can't be an Aaron, because if it's an Aaron, it's going to be Cinna.
Wait, what did you say, Kyrio?
Oh, just my roommate showed me the Dogs in Love video.
I have no idea myself, honestly. I'll have to look that up later or something.
I've showed it to you before.
You
It's
have?
the Pokemon Coliseum video by Jello Apocalypse and their friends.
Oh, that one! I never finished watching that. I
You
completely
need
forgot.
to finish watching it. There's gonna be another one.
That was really quite sacrilegious. It was quite nice.
Sacrilegious. Let's see here. I'm sorry, Ralph. What was your question?
Is it legal?
Is it legal? Is it legal? And they give you a questioning look about, like, what about this is not legal? But let's see. We have the Cloister again. Aaron, Haxorus. Haxorus is a good one. Infernape is an interesting one. Krogunk and Toxicroak are interesting. Murkrow has been randomly generated. Sceptile. Why does it have to be Sceptile, Beerus?
It's his favorite Pokemon, so he won't shut up about it when given the chance. That's why.
His favorite Pokemon was a lamb.
Should be an Archeops for Kyrio.
He has betrayed the lamps of his love of Sceptile, honestly.
Oh, Nano said Aaron because I thought it was about the egg.
Oh, okay.
Hisuian Deadeye is another good one. Ooh.
His city. Wait a minute. I don't think I know what that one looks like because I haven't played Arceus.
Personally, I
What the
prefer
hell?
the usual Deadeye.
That's
but
a new one.
Hisuian would be good.
I didn't know that one existed, and that's interesting.
These are all good choices.
Azuian well, I'd say Zoroark makes more sense. It sounds like a bipedal Pokemon, but I'm not really sure, actually.
It is, a bipedal Pokemon. This is not a quadrupedal. Which I suppose narrows it down a little.
God, they're huge. Well, that one is, at least. Huh.
Look, owls have long legs.
That's true. It's actually very true.
You know what? We're gonna go with Hisuian Decidueye.
Okay.
I was gonna go with Haxorus, but Hisuian Decidueye seems way more out of place.
Just gonna pick the weirdest
Well,
option.
just
Sounds good to me.
anything get around here anyway.
It's a good question, but then again, who knows, actually? I mean, the PMD
Have
verse
the
is...
implication that they're extinct.
Well,
Oh, right, that's true.
that's true, actually. Hisuian is an ancient form that isn't no longer in the Sinnoh region, technically, right? So,
Well,
granted, this
well,
isn't
okay.
the same planet, so who knows? Or at least I don't think.
I mean, to be fair, there may be a Hisuian Typhlosion that you all could possibly eventually meet.
That sounds
So,
Yeah, we don't have the.
what is the
Hands over
squeaky?
it. Oh, sorry, that's me.
Okay, no, you're fine.
No, it's fine.
I was
It
wondering
wasn't
what the
that loud.
noise was, and it kept reminding me of like mice, and I'm like, does somebody have a pet mouse?
I'm just fidgeting with the screwdriver.
Oh, you're fine. That wasn't very loud. That wasn't loud
Yeah,
at all. Feel free to
you're
fidget.
totally fine.
I'm fidgeting too. I'm just like I'm doing that thing where my leg won't stop moving. Like you ever have that? It's like your leg just you just keep rocking.
Okay.
It, like geez.
Sorry. Yeah, we're gonna go with Hisuian Decidueye. But yes, they inform Ralph that they are not in the market for demonstrating at least that one. And they just look at him strangely when he asks if this is illegal, and they don't really explain much more besides why wouldn't it be legal?
Might as well. Can't make a model. Can make a card. So there's a card. Also helpful for anybody who hasn't played Arceus Legends. So
I don't think the 2D art does it good justice, but
a standee? I could, but I don't remember how to do that.
we don't need a standee. This is fine. Also, I'm sorry for all the sidetracking.
It's fine. Oh, that's how you do it.
Always like a samurai bird shirt, I guess.
There, that was actually really easy, so I have that. Looks better anyways.
Yes, they're totally short. They are a dwarf Decidueye.
Dorsidui. Like problems these big bases, but that works.
I mean, if not for the base becoming Hugh, they would be taller, but yeah.
Yeah. Hey, actually, hold on. What does this do? Oh, hold on. I think I found a fix for that. Oh, okay. That helps.
Boom. Bam.
They are tall.
Turns out you can change a side for the base. Let me do this. That is not my final form. Okay. Taller?
I think that's good.
How many Ralph tall is he?
How many Ralph's tall is he? Yeah.
1.5.
That seems about right then.
About right.
He floats a bit. That's good.
But indeed, does Ralph have more questions for this Borb?
How many? What's? Let me take a look at.
Oh, Ralph?
So how does this work? So I like handle the grenade.
You just gonna take it?
Okay. I need to roll with this because it's too amusing, and I don't want to make Ralph roll for this. It's too amusing to have this happen. I would normally make you roll, but this is too much. Just like the Decidui looks at you handling the grenade, panics, looks at their hip, sees the missing grenade, and moves to take it back. And they just slowly retrieve the grenade and put it back on the strap at their hip. Please don't handle my personal traps like that.
Right. Yeah, so how big of a boom we talking?
They sigh and take a moment. You see their eyes just sort of shift around very briefly from left to right, and they seem to just be observing the space around them. Big enough to cover the entire width of the street.
I'll take one.
You'll take one.
Yeah, how much?
What do you want it for?
Well, I'm a pioneer. Maybe I fight something weak to fire.
Wait, you think this explodes into fire? As they hold one up. They're holding it from the bottom, specifically.
What's it explode into? Is it like a stink bomb or? But yeah, I totally thought, fire like, like I catch fireball.
What gave you that impression? They lightly sway it a little to the left and right to sort of demonstrate that the pouch inside the little wooden cage just sort of jiggles like there's a liquid in it.
Well, I mean, I thought it was maybe napalm or something.
What the heck is napalm?
Oh, it's like water that's super flammable and combustible. Imagine water that if a spark falls on it, it explodes. That's napalm.
Let me put that back, by the way. That sounds really frightening. And also like something a Magmar would want. Sorry, if you're looking for something that destructive, I don't have it. And they begin pulling their cart along.
So what does the grenade explode into? Ice? Stink? What?
Well, I just told you. You'd go blind if I set it off here.
Smoke grenade for a quick getaway. Okay. That's really interesting. Hey.
Are you gonna follow them as they go to set up their shop?
Well, it's not like he has anything else to do right now, so he could if he wanted to.
Yeah, I suppose.
Does seem like a Ralph thing to do.
I mean, besides, go to your room and contemplate life, the universe, and everything.
Yeah, just laying there, staring at the ceiling. Oh, that can't be right.
The number
He
42.
counts on his fingers again. Yeah, that's right, 42.
I was gonna say the number 42 written on every surface. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. But if you do follow this Hisuian Decidui, they eventually set up a shop near the Oasis. And we can probably swap to the Oasis song if we want to, but keeping on the current song is fine. We're about to end anyway.
Yeah, I'll just leave it where it is.
You know, if you look at this guy from a certain angle, it looks like he has a frowning mouth with orange lips and a big like red
Oh no, I see it.
mustache.
Oh no.
I do see it. Oh gosh.
Oh.
Oh no, I can't unsee it.
Very, very dissatisfied kind of face.
Ruined. Not really.
With big old nose. Like
Also,
the beaks the nose.
Reese suggested this because when you mentioned the hat, they were like, "Oh, like the hat on a Hisuian Decidui," which is cool. So
Yeah,
2 words I have struggled.
I
saying.
appreciate it. It's very appropriate. Like
That plus
look,
Val and plus a bit bigger, I guess.
yes. But if nobody made any suggestions, I was going to make it a chestnut.
Yeah, fair.
In any case, Ralph, you get to watch them meticulously lay out a thick mat of woven fibers and start setting out their traps one by one. And by the time they're finished, Tucker and Brooke come back from their little shopping excursion in the orchard, and you see this new merchant who you don't recognize as having been here before, not even for the festival, who seems to have set up a shop full of traps? But on closer inspection, they have a whole bunch of basically quick setup traps available to themselves. They have what looks to be an easy setup cover for a pitfall trap. They have the rough equivalent of a bear trap, albeit not as nasty and made of metal. They have a couple net traps available for sale, and they have set close to themselves so as to be away from customers and possibly the munchlax that you recognize 3 smaller devices that look like grenades. They also have a few other gadgets about at the moment.
Something I noticed is that you said it's like a bear trap or less nasty. I'm like, yes, a much more pleasant kind of bear trap, you know?
Well, look,
Actually, there is that. That is the sort that snares an animal's leg without injuring them. Thus pinning them to the location without actually injuring them.
well, they do have some. Yeah, I think the better way to put it would be they have some simple, easy setup snares.
Does it look like their shop is more focused towards like hunting or like defense?
This looks like a mix of hunting traps and basically defensive tools. This sort of shop feels like it is geared towards either Pokemon who intend to hunt or who are going into dangerous places. Because normally, you probably wouldn't think of using traps yourselves, since you're normally the ones who are dealing with traps.
Still, anything that has more of a throwable object feels a more active item of defense or attack, so that sort of trap is also more useful in the
I should also mention they do have some bags of spikes as well. Okay. So that's at least one thing you all are familiar with.
Interesting. Well, I imagine Tucker will gravitate over to Ralph and thus this new shop as well.
How's it going, guys?
I imagine Brooke will too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Thought you might be a
if-
little distracted. It's okay.
If Brooke is not interested in the trap shop, that's fine.
I'm just losing steam, I think.
Oh, it's fair.
Yeah,
it's late.
it's very late. I think it's
Oh, wow, it's really
later
late.
than
Okay, I'm sorry.
it's later than our usual.
Um,
If we want to stop here, that's fine.
we're used to Aragon saying what time it is. I think.
Well, I wasn't sure if we were gonna stop right now or what.
What do you think? Would you like to finish the scene, Kyrio, or do you think you would stop here because of your Steam?
I can finish the scene, but I...
Well, the other thing I was going to suggest is if we stop now, that lets me pull up a list or make a list of traps for sale. But if you look in the weapons thing, the only things that aren't available in the little weapons bag would be the rock hammer, sage staff, Skarmory sword, tooth spear, zapper, and wooden shield. So effectively, they are carrying nets, sacks of geopebbles, or spikes in this case, the equivalent to a smoke bomb, and several simple traps, but I can also make more custom stuff if necessary.
I would elect we stop before Tucker and Brooke properly get into the scene, because I do think that this actually won't be a terribly short scene. I have a thought about what Tucker could actually... I feel like there's some interactions Tucker could be doing here. I have some thoughts about stuff. So I would say let's end it before the two get over to the shopkeeping Ralph. That seems like a reasonable stopping point and gives you time to set up the... Yeah. And also let's Kyrio go get some Z's in bed.
Everybody needs the sleep.
I'm a little bit tired myself, but also I'm going to go make some freaking beef melt sandwiches.
Yep. Also, next time we might end up abstracting however long you all are going to end up being in town, because not every day in town is going to be a super adventure.
Sure.
Yeah.
What was our team plan on, like, doing more stuff? Like, actually, no, that's right. We're way on Pangoro, basically, to give us some updates. So, in the meantime...
Yeah. Also, we're waiting for Zeal to get back, and...
That, too.
Yeah, and Zeal's going to be at least 3 days, so...
I feel like what we generally do with Sea Spray is, like, we return to town, first day of the downtime, we generally will detail. Other days, we'll tend to time skip a little bit. That seems like a good system.
Yeah, mostly because we've seen what happens when we detail every day.
Also, detailing the first day makes sense because like it's catching up, trying to see how everybody's doing, like catching up with stuff, and then all the less detailed stuff can be done afterwards.
Yep. And if anything of note happens on the days, we can detail that out.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, thank you, everyone, for this nice chill session. And also, oh dear, I had to make a new NPC, and then I... Well, no, I didn't have to make a new NPC, and then I made a new NPC anyway, of my own volition. So, everybody gets to experience.
Seems fair.
Yes.
Hooray! Let me, again, as usual, let me know if you can't edit your sheet.
Oops, that was a mistake.
Oh.
But...
they use the text tool.
Type here! Alright, well, if it says...
Just erase that will work.
You select text, and there's a trash... Oh, that deletes all 3 text. But
Yep,
yeah,
I did
think
it.
That's fine.
Alright, thank you. I have 41. Can I do anything with that yet?
Tucker's been stockpiled Nice, 69. Alright.
You are one away from being able to buy Screech.
Yeah,
Screech, that sounds so fun.
Tucker can buy Sucker Punch. Is that any good? Sucker Punch?
Well,
Buy it.
it's the Never Miss Dark move, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Well,
It's
Sucker
either
Punch...
it's either the Never Miss one or the Always Attacks First Dark move.
hang on.
Did Tabletop Simulator have an update at one point? Because I feel like at one point, if somebody was searching a bag, you just couldn't until they were done. But now we can.
Yeah, that's an update.
Okay.
So Sucker Punch, if the target does not perform a damaging move, this attack will fail. It's the move where if an opponent is trying to attack you, you will attack it first.
Right. It's a priority move under the right circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which can be that actually is a pretty powerful move, especially in a more tactical based Pokemon game. That could be useful. Worth considering, certainly. Also, Strength plus 3 is pretty solid.
It is very solid.
Because Tucker could benefit from interrupt moves, actually. The way he works and plays.
So the way I would have you use Sucker Punch as an interrupt or an interjection, I feel like, given how we currently play, because I know the combat system is based on deciding things beforehand and then letting it all play out in a chaotic jumble.
Yeah.
I would say declare your intent to interject.
I might have accidentally dealt everyone a normal.
Yeah, I noticed that. I have
Yeah.
metronome. I was wondering what was going on there. Weirdly enough, Ralph still has his metronome, so I don't really know what happened. I guess I'll delete it? Or... Oh, wait! Wait, did that come from the bags? Did that come from the mood bags?
Yes, it did.
Oh, shoot.
No one gets metronome.
Oh, hang on. Yep, and I have tackle.
Okay, let's put those back in the bag. The appropriate bags.
Sorry.
Oops. I think there's a key you can hit while in a bag to basically deal stuff from the bag to everybody. I think that's what you hit.
Yeah.
That might be...
Hit deal.
It's okay. I might recommend, Kyrio, that you take some time at some point, just go into the controls, and any shortcut key where you're like, I don't have any use of this, but if I hit this it could cause problems, just delete it. I actually kind of did that for myself. I just scrubbed some keys from the list.
Yeah.
In this case, I just clicked
feel
the
like
wrong
I did
thing.
get it.
Yeah.
somehow.
Oh, okay. It was actually a click. Alright, well, fair enough then. I think there's a hotkey for it too, if I recall. Alright, anyways, sorry. Go ahead, Car. Also, welcome back, Tubby. I think. Did you...
Oh no.
I can go anyway. You guys were just discussing the thing.
Did you add
Oh,
your experience already?
Yeah, I added my experience.
Okay, just
Okay.
double checking.
And again, thank you all for being very understanding about the flippity floppity.
Also, just to confirm, I did hear you, Car, about how Sucker Punch I just have to declare if I had it. I'm not necessarily getting it yet, I'm just considering it. It's not a bad move, actually.
I feel like for the way Sucker Punch works in the games and it doesn't stop the move from happening either, I don't think. Because it doesn't
No, it just does it first. I guess it would stop it if it faded the Pokemon, though.
Yeah,
something.
that's the thing. So if you were going to do an interjection, I would have you declare intent prior to me declaring what a move is,
Okay.
at the very least.
We have done cases where Tucker has prepared a turn, like wasted turn to prepare to react to something. Sucker Punch effectively would let him do that without preparing, right? But I would still have to interject, of course.
Yeah. You would only be able to do it with Sucker Punch. It
But
wouldn't
yeah,
be
specifically.
I prepare to do X thing because Y.
Yeah, I should specify, because we kind of have set up a priority move system with any move if we bother to waste a turn to do so. But Sucker Punch would effectively allow that to be done with Sucker Punch alone, without having to spend a turn setting up first.
Yeah. And there's always the fact that you can pause your turn in order to act on an ally's turn and attack together. Or team attack.
Mm-hmm.
Team attack tech? To get through those defenses.
It is worth considering, though Tucker is pretty comfy with dark moves for the moment. The Crunch is also pretty... What was Crunch's power?
Crunch is strong.
Lower.
was
Yeah,
like-
it's a strong dog type
4?
move and can lower defense.
It's strength plus 3.
3?
Strength
Oh, it's a
plus
little lower
3,
than that.
lethal, and there's a chance to reduce defense.
Right. Okay, it's plus 3 instead. Okay, that actually makes sense. Yeah, that's actually pretty realistic, because Crunch wasn't that much more powerful in the games than Bite. It was a little more powerful, but not like ridiculously so. And much the same, it's plus 1 more on the damage pool. Okay. So that actually makes Sucker Punch even more appealing, because I think it's higher.
Also, Jeebus, y'all are like at
No,
max
it's actually
stats, I'm realizing.
So actually, Crutch is higher.
Like one away
Or
from
press.
max stats to pretty much everything except strength.
Yeah, I guess we are.
I'm actually kind of wimpy for a crocodile.
Aw.
Or at least close enough. Well, those of you who haven't evolved yet, I should say.
I might
Yes.
actually buy a point in strength or buy a new move. But I'll mull it over for now.
Okay.
For now, it is.
For now, it is. And Tucker has actually maxed his stats because you have to remember he can't get max decks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the game.
Thanks for playing. I think this. Oh, by the way, before everybody goes, I will say I do think this session went very well, and it kind of helped. Like, I wasn't sure how the session would go, admittedly. Just figured I'd give it the best shake, and we all would, and see how it went. Still went really well, honestly. I think this was really good. I feel like there was plenty of communication, talking. It wasn't like awkward or anything. I enjoyed this.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this restores everybody's faith a little bit more. It certainly did mine.
I did my best to be a little more active.
I appreciate that. I really do. It wasn't strictly necessary, I think, even for the sake of like an enjoyable game, but it definitely helped. And it was. I also tried more, if you may notice, with Tucker. I tried to be more vocal than normal too.
I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. You're all wonderful players.
Aw.
And I just hope to continue and make it enjoyable for all of you.
I think that can be achieved. And honestly, considering we are going to consider a new player somewhat soonish, the fact that the session went so well definitely shows me we can have a great time and still have a great game and that's engaging and such with this slightly smaller player pool that we have now. And we'll add to that and have new dynamics form. So it'll be great. I think it'll be good.
I'm hopeful.
Me too.
I am too. Also, Wolf Mage, as for throwing weapons, Nano is correct. Spikes and pebbles exist. Oh, thank you, Xerix. Other than spikes and pebbles, you will probably not find them on the Plains continent. But given one of the locations that the team may be going to soon, they might see other tools and weapons. There are not firearms, because what the heck do Pokemon need firearms for?
Some of them have firearms already. Fire types have their farms of fire.
But I can guarantee you that there is a tool/weapon out there that is used to fire seeds at high velocity.
That makes sense. I also could see blow darts or something.
Something seed crossbow.
I mean, there's plenty of projectile weapons Pokemon have with their natural abilities too, so. Yeah, plenty. They're a good augment, though, these other items.
Okay. I must sleep.
This is fair. Good night to all of you.
Good
In
night,
the chat.
everybody.
Good night, all.
And I'll see you guys for maybe tomorrow. If you have a little time. Those of you in the Pokemon group. Good night to you too, Tubby. Alright. Well, that being said, another call's ended rather quick. Everybody's tired. But, yeah, table. I hope you guys enjoyed the game. I know some of you were tentative with the fact that Aragon departed the game last session, but I hope that this session showed those of you who were tentative, because I know some of you are like, well, how's the game going to be the same? Well, it's not going to be the same, but it's still going to be very enjoyable. And it's not like it lost all of its elements. Come on. One person does make a difference, but it doesn't make all the difference. That's the important thing to know. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed session 88, and I'll see you guys for Pokerole in another 2 weeks. Don't expect a new member for the party just yet. like next session or even the session after that. But we will be trying to get somebody in. There's some conversations that are be done in private with people to figure out, kind of an interview even, you could say. And I'll let you guys know when we know. So until then, I hope you guys enjoyed session 88, and come back for session 89 in a couple weeks. Thanks for coming.